Hello, my name is Angela Evans. I'm the Dean of the Lyndon Baines Johnson School of Public Affairs at the University of Texas, Austin, and I'd like to give you my thoughts on the freedom of speech. When designing the Constitution, the first of the amendments contained in the Bill of Rights declared that the Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Freedom of speech was bundled in a string of rights that defined how the government was to protect its citizens and how its citizens would relate to its government. A commitment to self-governance is the bedrock principle that justifies freedom of speech. It reflected a clear faith in the American system by ensuring, one, the right to free speech that may be critical of power, and two, the value and power of each voice. Freedom of speech supported the real possibility that our country was open to self-examination, that individual perspectives could make a difference, and that America was indeed the nation in which bold corrections could be argued and pursued. We have benefited from this freedom because we live in a nation that has been built thought by thought, argument by argument, idea by idea, compromise by compromise, failure by failure, and yes, success by success. By weighing and balancing approaches to problems and challenges, none perfect or permanent, we have succeeded thus far in facing persistent problems and easing the tensions of political pressure so that our evolution as a nation continues. And we accomplished this in large part because people were free to share their ideas, test them, and change them, even when these ideas were unpopular, unconventional, or even wrong. And as we have learned, many ideas that were once considered controversial or wrong-headed later have been accepted and celebrated. It is because of free speech that the lexicon of American values has grown and democratic rule flourished. The right to express one's thought and to communicate them freely affirms the dignity and worth of each member of our society. Today, it is more important than ever to protect our freedom of speech because too many believe that free speech is designed to protect their speech, but not to protect speech of those with whom they disagree. Have the protections of freedom of speech always been honored and constructive? No. We have had our failures, but they have been temporary and we have recovered. My fear is that the enduring value of freedom of speech, despite its failures, is facing a major challenge. Partisan rancor and anger embedded in our political and social deliberations are now taking root in academic communities. There's a growing absence of and tolerance for seeking and supporting diverse viewpoints. Instead of trying to understand another's position or reasoning for holding a view or perspective from one that's different than ours, it seems the knee-jerk reaction is to dismiss or even worse, demonize the person. If this behavior continues, it will fundamentally undermine the power of dialogue and compromise, so essential to democratic rule. John Stuart Mill said, quote, "Even if we all were agreed on a proposition, it would be essential to give an ear to one person who did not, lest people forget how to justify their original argument." He argued that enlightened judgment is possible only if one considers all facts and ideas from whatever source and tests one's own conclusions against opposing views. So the full range of points of view should be represented in society's marketplace of ideas. The LBJ School and the University of Texas at Austin must ensure that this marketplace of ideas thrives and that when students leave our programs, that not only do they understand the necessity of protecting each person's freedom to speak, but also protecting each person's freedom from harm by those who may disagree. So thank you so much for listening to me. This is an extraordinarily important right that we have as Americans, and we should cherish it and fight for it. Thank you so much.